Secretariat, and they're now seated to my right. As I mentioned, we'll look at the SPREP's experience as a regional implementing entity of the Adaptation Fund and the access to climate finance in the Pacific region and common issues across SIDS as well as across regional implementing entities. Espen, you have the floor, or you have the podium, and we look forward to what you have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I work for the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program based in Samoa. If you need more information about SPREP, please Google. We were requested by our members, by our governing council, to seek accreditation as an RIE, first to the Adaptation Fund, and then later on to the Green Climate Fund. The process was lengthy and arduous, but we were supported by many organizations such as UNEP and the Frankfurt School, as well as many of our regional partners. We were asked to seek that status so as we could assist the region in submitting proposals and to support our members to gain NIE status in parallel. So we documented and published the lessons learned from the process as a guide to the region and developed a learner's manual for project development. Several agencies are currently providing support to access readiness in the region, including for achieving NIE status, but it's only recently being sought to be better coordinated and to also include my organization in those deliberations. SPREP with the Adaptation Fund and the Green Climate Fund have convened information and training workshops and have provided support for the development of a pipeline of projects from the region. A regional technical support mechanism, the RTSM, was established under a PPCR project that provided targeted technical assistance for elements that are needed in the proposal development process. For example, environmental and social safeguards, environmental impact assessment, cost-benefit analysis, gender plans, etc. We also regularly send out communications to members for expressions of interest in different opportunities under the fund, as well as responding to requests from our members. It has to be said that there was not a lot of staff in the Adaptation Fund or Green Climate Fund secretariats that had Pacific or SIDS experience, at least initially. In addition, there are enormous capacity challenges for the small administrations of the Pacific in dealing with the funds, and not enough personnel in the countries who understand the procedures and the processes. In some countries, we've also noted a bit of a sense of lack of confidence in the proposals that they're considering, and an unwillingness to commit their own resources to concept development of projects that they worry may not succeed. The aforementioned RTSM is also running out of resources, and efforts have been made to replenish it, but so far no donors have been found for this very successful program. SPREP has only low-risk accreditation for GCF, but we have still sought to assist our members with other projects to find accredited entities that can help them. This again has been problematic because some of the accredited entities bring their own perspectives rather than what the country wants, or the projects have been too small for the accredited entities to wish to engage in. Or quite frankly, there's been a lack of understanding on the situation in the Pacific. In addition, the process of developing proposals requires significant expertise, funds, and time. We have estimated that one successful project took 2.5 years to complete and cost over $600,000 US to develop. Once accredited, SPREP has not received much dedicated technical support, but was able to access ad hoc support from one regional bilateral project and from one major regional partner for targeted assistance to countries. In partnership with the university and the region, we have developed 2 complementary online tools for adaptation planning support and climate change finance decision-making support. These will be launched in a few months. We've also received support from a GEF project to upgrade our internal processes relating to procurement, financial regulations, and various relevant policies to our functions as an RIE. That process we are also documenting and will be published soon in order to assist the Pacific countries with their national accreditation processes. Oops, no, this was funny. There's a slide missing. Okay, there was a later version of this. Anyway, we were also able to work with partners in the region to develop specific guides and tools, such as a gender toolkit and mainstreaming guidelines that are targeted to Pacific audiences and which have greatly improved the way in which we do work. And these have become standard operating procedures for us. So, there's some slides missing here. Okay, right. This was the last part that I was asked to address, which relates to what we see as where there's room for improvement. Well, first of all, we would very much like to see this regional technical support mechanism that we have replenished and expanded. We think there's scope for further enhancement of the dialogue between the funds and with ourselves and the Pacific Island countries to better communicate the needs and situations of the region. And the current structured dialogues are helpful, but there also needs to be more frequent interaction. Donor coordination of those who offer support to the region, this can't be understated. We also think that accredited entities should not have minimum funding levels for projects in SIDS. We think it's unreasonable to set a threshold of $100 million for a project, for example, in the Pacific. Right, just a few final points. The capacity building needs of governments in the region is not just to be able to prepare bankable projects, but to acquire the knowledge and technical skills to manage the process of project preparation. With a few exceptions, there are no regional and national institutions in the Pacific to have direct access to the funds. And even if more countries had direct access, they would still have limited capacity to prepare bankable projects. And as by our organizational goals, I would say that SPREP has a lot to offer development partners wishing to support the region with climate change financing. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Espen, for sharing that experience from SPREP as a regional implementing entity, but also highlighting the challenges for direct access in the case of SIDS. Clearly, you've drawn out that accreditation itself is not the end, but a beginning, and there is much more that needs to be done in terms of coordination and capacity building between the entities as well as the fund. I now turn it over to Silke, who will be